All right, I think we're recording. Yes. Okay, so welcome to our team call tonight, guys. Thanks so much for hopping on. I'm really excited about our topic. We're going to be talking about objections, conversations, how to navigate those, and we're actually going to, hopefully you guys will do some role playing with me, and we'll go back and forth, and I'll talk about how to do that in a second. But I want to go through a few announcements. We got lots of exciting stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. So the first thing I wanted to make note of is anybody that's wanting to get certified in 2B Mindset, it's $100 off this month for the certification process. So definitely try to jump in on that deal if you're thinking about doing it just before that time frame ends. The other thing that I just saw, and y'all may have already know about this, but it's called the Big Sweat. It's something that they're doing. It's like a virtual opportunity for you to win cash. So they're going to select 2 winners from every region based on, or every time zone, but on 8/18 at 8:18 a.m. on your time. If you work out and post on your Instagram stories using the specific hashtags, you're entered to win that $818. They'll do 2 winners for every time zone. So the FAQ on that is 818. So definitely check that out because it's a great way to share a workout. It's also a great way to win some cash. So the Big Sweat, our team photo shoot is going to be September 23rd, and we're probably in the evening, like 6 to 7. And then I will be putting instructions on the tank tops and all that out as well, but just make sure to mark your calendars for that. If you're looking to earn your own headshots for that, the qualification is for August, so earning Success Club in August, or hitting a new rank of Emerald in August. So that's what we've got going on. One little thing to know, I think all of us on the call are in our Mission Unstoppable group. Let's make sure to be fully engaged in that group, fully present. Let's pump up our girls. We have a lot of people in there who are super excited about starting their journey. So we as coaches want to be super present in there, posting flash challenges, sharing information, commenting on other people's stuff. So make sure that that's a priority each day as we go throughout this challenge. So prep week is this week, and definitely want to hit it hard with encouragement, especially starting next week. And tagging, if you have people in that group, tag them in the comments of the daily posts and stuff. That way they know where to go if they're having trouble seeing it. Okay, so that's all we got. So the way that this works is I already know that Elena has an objection that she wants to role play with, so I'm going to have her start. But what you're going to do is you're going to pretend that you are the client or a potential customer who is giving you a hard time about not wanting to get started on their journey. Okay, so she's going to dialogue with me on how conversation she's experiencing. So let's say I'm sending her, and I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Elena. Let's say that I sent her an invite, or you unmute yourself. I sent her an invite, and I said, hey, girl, I've got this Mission Unstoppable challenge up. I'm so excited about it. Would you be interested in learning more? Pretend that was a better invite. Okay, Elena, and go. What's your objection?
So I actually just got this one today, and this isn't a wonderful role play, because obviously I'm just talking like a coach. But she came back and said that she's very interested. The workout looks like the workouts that I share on my Insta story look like something that she'd be interested in doing. She's been invited before to other challenges, has never done them though because of the fact that she has trouble gaining weight. So she doesn't like to meal prep because of the fact that they're all geared towards weight loss. And in her eyes, because she doesn't do that and she has trouble gaining weight, she's like, everything is up for grabs for me with food. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like,
you can gain chub.
Yeah, but no, she's a twig. She's always been like she's someone I've known since high school. So I'm like, no, it's
okay.
True.
So what have you said so far in your conversation? Have you responded to her yet? Okay. So I'm going to pretend I'm you, and then we're going to go back and forth like a pretend conversation. So, okay. So she sent me that message, and she said, I just want to eat all the things and stay skinny and be healthy. And so you could come back with something like, I definitely, hold on, let me think about this. I personally don't struggle with this, but I know several people in our community that have faced this before. I would love to share with you some information about how meal planning actually is super beneficial for gaining weight. It's centered around making sure your body has enough of the nutrients that it needs to build lean muscle. So what we do is we calculate how much food that you need for your specific goals, and we'll add on calories to make sure that you are not depleted when you're working out. So you'll have calories for fuel and you'll have calories to gain muscle. Sorry, I know that was fast. It will be recorded, FYI.
I'm just getting the highlights, so.
Okay. And then you tell me pretend like she rebuttals that with something negative.
What about beer? That's one thing I do know that she drinks a lot.
I am
her husband.
Okay. So I would say something like, I'm a firm believer in everything in moderation. With our meal plans, I encourage a treat meal, treat beverage, at least one time a week, sometimes more, depending on your goals and how strict that you want to be with it. But beer is certainly allowed because this is a lifestyle, not a diet. Have you ever done anything like this before in the past? What have you tried that has or hasn't worked?
Haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
Honestly, this is a terrible role play on my end, but because it's real and I need to know how to talk to her. She just had her son is maybe 1, and she literally looks like her pre-baby body already.
Yeah, but I can guarantee you her body is not the same.
Well, I know, but that's what I said, looks like. Right. If
no,
she's dressed and everything, she looks like she's exactly the same. I'm like, what the hell?
So what I would say, I would end it like that. I would say, what have you tried that has or hasn't worked? That will give you an idea of where she's at. But then no matter what she comes back with, let's say she says something like, well, I sometimes go to the gym, but it's really busy. Mom life is so busy, I just don't have any time. And so then you could say, I really feel like I have something in mind that could be beneficial to you. It's a limited time frame each day. It's a short commitment, 4 days a week, 30-minute workouts, and it's super well-rounded. Would you like to learn more? And she'd be like, yeah, girl, I totally want to do that. Hook me up. And you're going to say, okay, I'm going to send you some information. Look over this video and then send me questions. Okay, let's pretend she goes radio silent on you, because that happens. So you send her the video, get her some information, and then she goes radio silent that night. So the next day, we want to come back and follow up and say, hey, just following back up with you. What did you think of that video? What questions do you have? And then, okay, take it from there. What questions might she have?
I don't really have any weights. And with a small baby around, it's kind of hard for me to get weights and feel comfortable.
Good response. And I would say something like, what's really neat is most of the packages come with 2 sets of bands. So you don't have to have a lot of equipment. If you're able to have anywhere from 5 to 15 pounds, that's a great option. But you will have the bands as available for you to use. Or we can choose a program that has no weights at all. And then I would say something like, do you have any support? Do you have a support system in your life that helps keep you on track to your goals?
Well, no, because my husband is always bringing home beer and burgers and tacos because, we're Latinas, so.
Perfect. Okay.
Or just talk to tortillas all the time. That's
I would say something like, it would definitely be hard with that kind of temptation around. Would your husband be interested in doing it together since it's only 4 days a week? Would that be something that he would enjoy? Does he have any personal goals with his health and fitness journey? He'd probably not.
I don't know. Where do you want me to go with it?
No,
he's a lump on the log.
So hit me with the price. Hit me with okay, so tell me how much. This sounds great, but tell me how much does it cost? So that's where you would say, in that scenario, when she says, okay, this sounds really good, but how much does it cost? That's where the conversation can go south or it can go great. And that's the kind of the fork in the road. So I would say, okay, I'm going to send you information based off what I know about you now. Keep in mind, this package can be fine-tuned based off your budget and needs, but I'm making a general recommendation so that you have the tools that you need to get started and the tools that you need to succeed long term. Include the details of everything. It comes in the Lift 4 challenge pack, list it out and why it's important. There's also a challenge pack verbiage in the team page if anybody needs it. It's a really great resource. And then go from there. And then at the end of that, say, how do I word it? Say, dadgummit, it's in the team page. At the end of it, I always ask the same question. And it's not, what do you think? It's, does this sound doable to you? So that verbiage has always worked really well for me. Does this sound doable to you? Because that opens the door, not just for price objection, but it opens the door to, I don't have time, things like that. So that's one example of conversation for that objection. So, Kathy or Jordan, do either of you, I'm gonna mute you, Elena. Do either of you have an objection that you want to role play through? I know we got kids and bedtime and all kinds of good stuff. Jordan, did you have anything? Kathy, did y'all have anything you wanted to role play through? No. Jordan, I'm gonna unmute you. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Oh my gosh, maybe. Because you had an objection the other day, didn't you, that you want to walk through an objection that you had in the past?
What was it? I don't even remember what it was.
I don't remember.
Everything's an objection this month. Well,
there you go. So let's
where do we begin?
Pick one. What's the one that you're hearing the most?
Oh, it just goes silent. It goes dead silent after price. Gone.
Do you feel like the navigation of the conversation up till price goes well, or is there anything that you feel like you want to adjust or change?
I mean, I don't know at this point.
Okay, so for me, it took a long time to learn how to navigate the conversation, and honestly, sometimes price is just not gonna. There's nothing that you can do, and then sometimes that's.
Maybe I just have a ton of cheap friends.
I mean, you might. That is possible, or you have people that aren't ready, and that's not on you. So that's something to keep in mind. So one of the ways, there's actually a follow-up system. I'm going to make a note. There's a follow-up system in the team page that gives you things that you can send to people that where you've sent them price, then they go silent. So these are prompts, messages of what you could send 2 days later, 4 days later, however long later, to where you don't feel like you're pushing them, but it's more so, hey, thinking about you, did you have any questions, stuff like that. So I will repost that in the team page because it tells you, okay, here's the first message you send, and then here's the next message to the point, and then you're like closing the door eventually after a message or two so you're not harassing them. So I'll tag you in that.
Okay.
So they don't even give you an objection. They just go silent.
Yeah. It's either it's silent or it's, oh, wow. And then it's silent.
I don't understand that.
I don't either. It's a one time. It's not a monthly.
No. And you think, I really have a hard time with that. So what I will do in scenarios like this is I will use those objections I'm hearing behind the scenes as content for posts. So if I'm hearing, oh, wow, I might turn that into the opposite and be like, oh, wow, I just spoke with someone and they were so shocked at how affordable this is. And talk about, like, share whatever your selfie or whatever from your workout, and then talk about, oh, wow, they were so surprised at how awesome it is on my profile. And then let's say someone talks about how expensive it is, and they're talking about they don't want to drink Shakeology because it's way too expensive, which hashtag I roll. But I would say on my page something like, you know, what's crazy is I used to go to Starbucks every single morning, and I dropped $6 on a drink that made me crash 2 hours later. What's really neat is I've replaced that with a coffee flavored superfood shake that is saving me $3 a day. So that's another approach on your profile, how you can tackle that. It helps me when I'm tackling it on my profile because on the back end, they're already like, oh, well, I have these habits. She had these too. and
Right.
overcome them because she overcame them too.
And I think another humongous objection is responding to the polls and then nothing. Why are you responding?
So my favorite is, oh, I didn't mean to hit that. I get that all the time. And I'm like, are you lying to me? Like, because I didn't respond to you within an hour, did you really not respond to that poll?
Yeah.
Fibbing. Yeah. So I would still use the same follow-up system that I'm going to tag you in the team page for those as well, because it talks about how to follow up to an invite, and essentially a poll response is an invite. So that will hopefully help. I don't understand people who ignore it, honestly. Even if somebody invites me to something I'm not interested in, I still respond.
Right.
Like don't be rude. But, okay. Any other problem solving you want to tackle? No? Okay. Can I put you on the spot and ask you to role play with me for an objection, and I'll give you the objection?
Okay.
Okay. So, and you can relate to this because you're a busy mom of 2 and working. So the objection is, I don't have time to work out. So I just sent you a message and I'm like, hey, Jordan, I have Mission Unstoppable. It's starting next week. I'm so excited. I've seen amazing results in my journey. Would you be interested in more information?
Sounds great, but I just don't have any time in my day.
So I literally had gotten that message to a T. Okay, so then I would say something like, girl, I totally know how crazy life can get. It can be so hard to prioritize yourself in the midst of mom life and things like that. Do you have any health and fitness goals that you would like to achieve at some point? Question mark.
I have tons and tons of baby weight to get rid of. I just don't have time.
You're really good at this objection thing. Okay, so I would say something like, so feel, felt, found is a great strategy when you're having objections because you're relating it to your story. So the concept is you use feel, then the next sentence is felt, and then the next sentence is found. So I would say, I remember feeling that way too before I started my journey. I felt like it was completely impossible to find time in my day to work out because I was juggling a career, I was juggling children, and how do you prioritize your health? I have found, and then you go into what you learned. And so that feel, felt, found is really helpful in sharing with them, like relating to them to where you're not coming across super critical. You're just sharing, hey, this is, I get it. So I would say I found carving out 30 minutes out of my day was extremely helpful for not just my body, but my mental state and handling the stress of my life. Do you feel like do you feel like if you had 30 minutes, 4 days a week, that would be something that would be manageable for you?
Yeah. I think I could handle that.
Okay, and so then I would respond with, would you mind sharing with me a little bit about what your nutrition struggles are? And then you would go back and forth about really diving deep into what their goals are. That way when you make that recommendation, it wasn't just 2 to 3 messages and then all the info, because that's the odds of them saying yes are less. The more that they connect to what they want to achieve, the higher the odds of them saying yes at the end of the conversation. And then once I get more information on their nutrition and their fitness, then I also asked if they have any injuries or limiting health issues. And then I would say, I have an idea of what I want to recommend to you. Would you be open to learning about it so that you can decide if this is right for you? I'd love to support you on your journey. And then you can send over the info. So thanks for helping me out with that objection.
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to mute you and take you off. Off spotlight. Kathy, I know you've got a sweet little one that you're trying to get to bed. Do you have any objections you want to role play with?
That one pretty much just covered it. I don't have time.
Okay. All right, perfect. If you think of any and you need to drop them in the chat, you can do that too. Okay. All right, so I'm going to mute you. Okay, so Elena, did you have any other objections that you wanted to talk through? Time is the big one. Price is the big one. So let's talk about the objection. I don't like shakes. I don't do shakes. I like to chew my food. You want to role play with that one, Elena?
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Okay.
So, it all sounds good. One, though, I don't really care for shakes. I've tried them before, and they're all disgusting. And I don't like vegetables because I'm really picky eater. I've always been like that. I'm never gonna change.
Oh my God. I have a message in my inbox right now with that literal message. Okay. All right. So I would say something like, you know what's so funny is I felt the same way. I remember feeling that way too before I started my journey. I felt like all vegetables were disgusting. The texture was nasty. There's no way you can make them taste good. And shakes were just chalky and gross. What I have found is that one of the reasons I didn't like having shakes was because I didn't know how to make them with the right recipe, and I wasn't willing to take the time to try. I said, as a coach, I'm here to help you problem solve and find a recipe that works for you. Okay, come back at me with like, no, that sounds great, but no.
I mean, it sounds good, but like honestly, like I maybe only like broccoli, and that's if it has lemon pepper on it. Other than that, like I don't eat any other vegetables. I don't at all, ever. They're disgusting.
Okay. Perfect. And then come back to the shakes, because I have another thing that I want to say about the shakes. Okay, so I would say something like, how many vegetables have you tried? And let's just say the last 6 months. What new vegetables have you tried in the last 6 months?
I mean, like my sister-in-law tries to give me carrots to snack on, and they're gross, and celery, and
I would say, so for me personally, I still don't eat raw vegetables, even 3 years into this journey. So I would say, I know that certain vegetables may not be your cup of tea, but if I can lose 80 pounds and not eat raw vegetables, it's possible to find vegetables that you like. It just takes some time and some being willing to fail forward, and know that you're not going to love every recipe, but don't use that as something that will hold you back. Now, have you ever tried a protein shake in the past with either off the shelf or that you bought from another company?
Yes. So I've tried them off the shelf, and they tasted like sand. They're super grainy and super textury. I even tried to get a really all-natural one, and that tasted even worse like sand. And I blended it too with ice, and it still tasted like dirt. Like.
Oh man, you're a tough sell. Okay, don't say that. Okay, so I would say something along the lines of, you know, what's interesting, I have learned in my journey that it takes time for your taste buds to adjust. They do adjust, but it takes time for your body to get used to eating healthy, for your body to get used to having the nutrients that you need to go throughout your day. In the beginning, when I started drinking my shakes, I struggled a little bit to adjust to the flavor palette, but once I realized how amazing it made my body feel, how much energy it gave me, the digestion, and how I was losing weight so quickly because it was an easy meal, it was a no-brainer for me. Would you be willing to try it for 30 days knowing that if you hated it, you could send it back for a full refund? Question mark.
Oh, like a full refund?
Full refund, no strings attached.
But I'm still going to have to try it.
Okay, so that's a great response. And I would say something like, I know that you're skeptical, but as your coach, I am committed to helping you see results. Will you trust me for 30 days to help get you the results that you want with this option?
Yes.
Perfect.
You know that they're all making those faces when they get those messages.
They are.
Like they're really looking at their phone like.
Don't be afraid to make them squirm though a little bit. Like you're wanting them to see you as a coach, like you are their coach. Your goal is to help them succeed. And so when they are reminded of that and say, I'm asking you to trust me. Trust is a big thing. Like that's asking them to enter into a personal relationship with you. And you shouldn't be ashamed of that. So that was a great back and forth. Thank you for that. Do you have any other objections?
What about this just like basic standard, like set in their ways? Like, how do I even explain?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. So people that you
like
know.
They eat healthy, they eat good, but it's still not what it should be. But I always have to have dessert after. Like those kind of things.
Yeah. It depends on your coaching style and
You
coaching.
want to get up and get that job? Oh, sorry.
You're fine. Your coaching style and coaching approach. I personally,
Hey.
You're fine. You're fine. I personally would go a little bit more straightforward in my response to those. I say things like, I know that if I had been too afraid to try this 3 years ago, my life would look completely different. And then again, pull in the trusting. Would you be willing to trust me for 30 days knowing you could get your money back? And let's say best case scenario, this is exactly what you need to reach your goals. Worst, and I've said this many times, worst case scenario, you get every penny back. And you risk nothing. And so pulling that out, some people are afraid to use the money back refund, but personally, I've not had, but in 3 years, maybe 3 to 4 returns, and that's it. So, okay, Jordan said, I would like to try your workouts, but I do keto. What? So I can't do your meal plan. Oh, gosh. Okay, so that's a good one. I would say, how do I make this rated G? Okay, so I would say something like, let me think about this. I would say something along the lines of, I know everybody has to find the nutrition philosophy that works best for their body. You can certainly follow the keto lifestyle and still do our plans. I usually ask my clients to try our nutrition plans for 30 days to see how their bodies respond, because they are formulated by nutrition experts in the field, but they can be adjusted based off what your needs and likes and preferences are as well. Because the truth is they can. I mean, they're going to follow what they're going to follow. They're going to follow what they're going to follow. And I would say I have said this, one thing to keep in mind is that keto is really great for some people and not so great for others, because it really should be recommended by a medical professional, not something that you just dabble in, because it is a very intentional nutrition philosophy. It can be a little bit risky on the back end with your health numbers like cholesterol and things like that. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. People who do keto are so freaking set in their ways. Like, it's like everybody else is dumb and they're the only nutrition approach that is important. And I do get into it and say, do you feel that keto is something that you can manage long term? Is this something that's actually doable forever? Or is it causing you too much stress to try to keep up with? What if I showed you a way to eat that caused you less stress and that was more manageable in your day-to-day life? Would you be interested? So that's kind of where I go with that. Ugh, I hate freaking keto. It's like all the rage right now. Good objection though, because we will get that a lot. Anything else that y'all can think of? You good? Okay, so this was good. Hopefully, was this beneficial? Yes, no, yes? Okay, good. I'm happy to do more of these. I also want to remind you guys that I do have one-on-one calls available for the week, so if anybody needs to hop on a one-on-one at some point, I do have some spots tomorrow night and Thursday. And if anybody wants to do I haven't done my power hour yet for the day, so if anybody wants to do my power hour or do a power hour with me, shoot me a message, because I'll be starting mine here in a couple minutes. But if you have any more objections, always put them in our chat. So screenshot your objection and send it in the chat so that we can brainstorm together in those group threads, because that's what we're there for. Because we all have a different approach to having conversations and we can learn from each other. So keep going. Don't let those no's or discouraging messages get to you. One thing that I have done in the past that have really helped me is that shifting the perspective of no's. So I am going for no. So if I am working to get 10 no's in a day, because if I get 10 no's, that means I might have gotten one yes. And that mental shift turns it from rejection to success. And remembering that those conversations are not taken personally. I had someone yesterday who said, you're not a professional, and she basically said in a nice way, you're not a professional and your advice means nothing to me. Don't message me again. because I sent her an invite and we didn't even have a conversation. So just know you're not the only one that's receiving objections. But get your mind right before you dive into your inbox. Do 5 to 10 minutes of personal development before you even look at your messages. And that way you go into it knowing it's not about me. It's not about my business. It's not an attack on my personality. It's just something that you'll go through in your business. It's just normal. So anyways, great job tonight, y'all. And I will put this recording up at the team page. If you have any questions, let me know. And thanks for hopping on. All right, bye.